Y254. Imagine.
Welcome back. If you've just tuned in, this is Y254 Business Highlights. Now, Abdul, what do you have for us tonight?
Tonight we're going to discuss cryptocurrency, and I have with me a guy from AWS Mining. His name is Michael Kimarong. Please, welcome.
Thank you.
So, 22162 is the SMS line, starting with the word Y News. Abdulrazak at Y254 channel. Hashtag Y254 updates is where you find us on Twitter. Please respond to the question: would cryptocurrency replace entirely the ordinary currency? Would cryptocurrency entirely replace the ordinary currency? Now, to just give you a little bit of a background of this, now Bitcoin is the world's first cryptocurrency, a form of electronic cash sent peer-to-peer without the need for financial intermediary. It is the first decentralized digital currency, and the system works without central bank or a single administrator. These transactions are verified by network nodes through cryptography and recorded in a public distributed ledger called blockchain. Bitcoin was invented by an unknown person or group of people using the name Satoshi Nakamoto and released as open source software in 2009. Now, welcome to studio, please.
Thank you.
And thank you very much for making the time to join us. Now, I'd like to ask you briefly, in layman terms, or just start by telling us what is AWS Mining and what exactly you do there.
All right. AWS Mining stands for Automated Web Services Mining. And we are doing mining of the digital currencies, Bitcoin, Ethereum, we have Zcash, Monero. So we are mining these digital currencies, and that's what we're doing.
How many currencies exist so far? I think it's 498, isn't it?
We are having over 1,600 digital currencies that have gone public. Of course, we have many others in form of initial coin offerings, which have not yet been launched to the public.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, I'd like you to explain to the layman what exactly is cryptocurrency.
Cryptocurrency, in layman's language, you call it digital barter trade.
Digital barter trade.
Yep.
Perhaps you can expound a little further, because I interacted with someone who wanted to know exactly what Bitcoin is, and to him it was such a vocabulary that he never really understood. Actually, it was like, what is cryptocurrency? What is Bitcoin? What is all that digital currency? To him, all of them were different terms meaning three different things.
No, perhaps it has got some history behind it. In the ancient times, people used to do business through barter trade, commodity to commodity. For example, as long as we agreed that, for example, a sack of maize, one of it is equivalent to perhaps a goat that you have, as long as we agree, no intermediary, we have done the business. I'll give you the sack of maize, you give me the goat. And that business was done. Then, from that time, there was introduction of a coin form of money, so that you have that coin to ensure that you buy a good. Then the coin was modified. You could get now paper money, like that's notes and checks. Then from that era, we saw the emergence of plastic money. That's debit cards. Then we have seen the emergence of e-money, that's like mobile transfer, that's mobile banking and internet banking. And on this 21st century, we have seen a totally disruptive force. We call it the blockchain technology, which is now backing up now the digital currency. That's how now the digital currency this time is what we are calling the cryptocurrency. Therefore, in the area we are in now, people have embraced cryptocurrency, and Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the rest are now, like we are saying, foreign currencies. And we have dollar, we have euro, we have pound, all that. So foreign currency is the word we are using here now, cryptocurrency in crypto. And then we have several of them, Bitcoin up to the 1,600, whatever.
Now, I'd like to interrupt you briefly, at least that you've made a point there. I'd like to ask you exactly what is cryptography, as we the process of cryptography, or just what is cryptography?
Well, that's just a special feature that has been adopted in mining, or rather in the cryptocurrency field, to ensure that to ensure that the network is so safe to an extent that it can't be hacked. Yeah, so it's a special feature. Yep.
Great. So I want to know, how does someone get into the business of Bitcoins, or how does one acquire Bitcoins?
Well, Bitcoin just like US dollar. If you want to get perhaps US dollar, you'll go to the bureau and buy. But now the difference between Bitcoin perhaps and the fiat currency is Bitcoins are obtained through a process called mining. Mining is a process through which transactions are verified and added to the public ledger we call the blockchain. In other words, a new way in which Bitcoins are released. So the original way in which you can get access to Bitcoin is through mining. That's the original process of extracting the coin from its electronic form to get Bitcoins. The other way is you can buy them from the existing local bureaus that sell Bitcoins and buy. We have one called Local Bitcoin in Kenya. We have BitPesa. We have Billfrex. All of them are local exchanges that people can use to buy.
Just to interrupt you,
Yep.
how would someone identify, or how would someone really get the authenticity of this thing, you know, the bureaus that you're talking about? How would you ascertain the authenticity of them?
Now, with those, there are no problem because these are public exchanges that are operating publicly. There is nothing, the only business that is happening there is buying and selling. Therefore, you'll always be recommended to the best exchanges depending with how credible it has been in dealing with transactions. So with that, there is no much problem. The only problem is within now the market. This is a new industry, and we have different people that will have that comes to perhaps our country with different intentions. So where there is a lot of key interest is now how to obtain the Bitcoin. That is the process of mining it. So during that time is when you need to be careful. There are crooks that are coming in saying they are mining Bitcoins, but they are just interested with your money. So that's where now authenticity comes in. You must verify to ensure.
How do you do that?
Well,
how do you verify the authenticity?
For example, like with our company, AWS Mining Limited, which is located in Australia, Sydney. So this company is duly authorized and legalized by the government of Australia, and you can actually verify through the government portal, call it ABN lookup. You verify we have a registered company. Number two, we have also gone to an extent that we have registered this company with the Australian Securities and Investment Commission to ensure that all members, or rather affiliates who participate in mining of the Bitcoin through the company, their interests are well safeguarded to ensure that they do not lose their funds. So that's very important.
Once again, I'd like you to give us a layman explanation. Give us a layman explanation of what mining is insofar as Bitcoins are concerned.
Well, a good analogy will be gold is mined, right?
Yeah.
Now with gold, you dig underground to ensure that you get it. So it's almost similar, but now this is digital. That's electronic. You need, as long as you can have access to internet and a suitable, perhaps software and hardware, you can mine Bitcoins at your convenience. The only challenge is the process requires some skill. It requires some initial costs of course, installing the machine, the software, and all that proves some time to be a limiting factor to many. That's why we come up with a very simplified way in which each and every person globally can be involved in mining Bitcoins with their budget that is of convenient to them.
Now, that brings this very, very, very important question, that anyone with the capacity to mine Bitcoins can do that. That is simply saying that anyone can be their own private Delarue, isn't it?
Well, the good thing is, the problem is, you see, what actually made Bitcoin to come into play was as a result of the US economy crashing in 2008. Then people lost confidence in that system. Because if it's a system that can be manipulated by few people, then there is a problem. It's the same thing with even our Kenyan currency. There are 1,000 note that we see, or any other note. You see, it's just a few people sat down to determine the value that this paper is 1,000 bob.
Exactly.
Same people can sit down today say this paper is a 5,000 bob. And remember, if there is deficit right now in our economy, the same few people can order De La Rue to print more money.
Exactly.
Which will bring inflation.
If I don't have adequate money, if I'm just trading with the Bitcoins, and I want to have a lot, of money to do whatever I'd like to do on Earth, I will just, because I can access them, I'll say, let me mine my own. If I've got the capacity to get that, and everybody who is interested in doing that, I believe, can do that. So is it not posing a risk of inflation, actually at a higher rate than the ordinary one we know?
So what's happening, as I was telling you, just the way a Kenyan shilling or perhaps any other dollar, currency can be manipulated by people in authority to suit the interest perhaps of a country or a few people, that does not occur with digital currency, especially Bitcoin. Initially, when Bitcoins were created, they were only created to have a limited supply of 21 million Bitcoins. That will never exceed that. And therefore, up to now, we have mined over 17 million Bitcoins. We have less than 4 million. Less than 5 million or 4 million in circulation. Now, we are aiming to ensure that those number of Bitcoins will be mined up to year 2140. There is a formula in which Bitcoins are mined. You don't mine it the way you want. Therefore, it was divided in phases. Like between 2008 up to around 2012, we were producing 50 Bitcoins in every 10 minutes.
Oh, I see.
Now, from 2014 to about 20, now, I think the beginning of this 2018, we have been producing 25 Bitcoins in every 10 minutes. The process halves after every cycle elapses.
It keeps on halving.
Now, within this time, we are mining 12.5 Bitcoins every 10 minutes. And it will go up to 6.75 like that. That's why you cannot manipulate it to suit your interest. There is a formula which you cannot manipulate. That's now where blockchain technology comes in. You can't manipulate it. You can't do whatever.
I'd like us to wind up with this for the interest of the viewer. 2 questions, all of them, just give me very, very brief responses to them. So, how do you, okay, not that, because that would, of course, if you have money, you'll know how to invest it. So I'll just ask you this. How do you go through the process of reclaiming your Bitcoins into ordinary currency? Just very briefly.
Well, just as I said, when you have a dollar, you walk into the bureau, you get Kenya shillings. Same thing, you have your Bitcoins, you log online on the local Bitcoins, www.localbitcoinskenya. You will be able to exchange your Bitcoins to your local currency, where you will pose a trade for sale and someone will buy it. And then you will get your money through your bank, M-Pesa, or whichever convenient method that you have at hand.
Thank you very much for sharing us this very valuable information. It's been a pleasure to have you in studio. Now, 22162 is the SMS line, starting with the word Y News. I hope the interview has been very, very, very informative for you. Abdulrazak is where we are on Twitter at Y254 channel, hashtag Y254 channel updates. And also you will find Yvonne Anyula at Yvonne Anyula on Twitter. I would like to hand over back to you.
Thank you, Abdul. And my name is Yvonne Anyula. Thank you for joining us tonight. Good night.